listening to Cain, Randy, and Brooke on Scratch the Vinyl.
Scratch the vinyl.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Scratch the Vinyl. You made it back for another week, and we're glad that you did. We are metal fans. Metal fans. We have ourselves another awesome show for you. I know you guys are going to be salivating when you find out who we're talking to today. I know I am. I can barely keep my composure together because I love metal. It just has a special place in my heart. I mean, I am a metalhead through and through. My music might not come out as heavy as the guy who we're going to talk to or some of the other bands, but I can tell you with full certainty that metal is where my heart is. So I'm going to go ahead and address the fact that we don't have our better half on the show today. The one that we love to talk to, the one that makes us laugh. She is out. She's riding a unicorn somewhere like Santa Claus. She's spreading cheer to everybody, just not Christmas cheer. And she's doing it all over the world. So she'll be back, I'm sure, next week, but she's not here today. But there is somebody that I do have. It is, oh my gosh, it's the Godzilla of entertainment. It's the King of Sting. It's the God of Thunder himself. It's the Godzilla of karaoke and many other entertainments that I can't even mention because it's behind closed doors. Randy, Mr. Chill Wilson, how are you doing?
Well, great to see you today, Mr. Stevens. We're sorry that Brooke could not make it today, but we will carry the torch. But I will tell you, we did have a blast this last week on KZOM on the Morning Slacker show. Big shout out to David Rabe, who was so generous to put us on the show this week. And boy, did we not have a blast in studio, did we not?
We did. We had a blast. You know, I better address it before he said David Raby, right? It is Raby. I always want to say Rabe when I look at it, but I don't think David cares. David loves this show. He became a fan of the show through one of our episodes, and he is a weekly listener. He talks to me constantly about it. What a blast, wasn't that, Randy? I mean, we took over the local airways and we played all vinyl for 2 full hours. How cool is that, Lincoln?
I tell you what, it was so cool and serious. David, what a what a gentleman. Like he gave us an insight to the world of radio and we put him on the spot with the albums. He doesn't normally have to spin the real vinyl and we brought in a whole collection and man, that was a blast.
Well, it reminded me of the times like back in the days when they're spinning Chubby Checker and all that stuff. You know, you got Wolfman Jack on the mic and they're spinning records the whole time. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into that. They're not just pushing buttons here and this and that there. We were literally, and I was helping him with it. We're literally shuffling this record to the next. We're putting the needle down where we hope is the song that we wanted. It was wild.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got good at dropping the needle on the right spot. I think I think in reality we only messed up one time and played the wrong song on one of Brooke's vinyls. So sorry, Brooke.
Sorry, Brooke. But, you know, people loved it, and I love the fact that we got to play anything. I mean, he played Bikini Kill. I got to play Smashing Pumpkins. I got some Deftones on there. Randy, I mean, you got all sorts of great stuff in there. You got the Eagles, you got Jackson Brown. I mean, we played such a plethora of things.
Yeah, I think that was the funnest part is that we all got to bring a little something different and kind of share whatever we wanted. And for us, it was playing some of our favorites, and we didn't necessarily pick like the most obvious songs off those albums. So I think if everybody gets a chance and goes back and look at the archive of that show, Scratch the Vinyl was doing our thing that day. I actually really enjoyed that. I really mean that. So David Raby, man, we'll come on anytime you want. I'm just throwing that out there.
Word on the street is that we might even make it a regular thing. Maybe it'll be yearly, maybe it'll be bi-monthly, maybe we'll just sit outside his house and we'll shake his doors like a haunted house type effect until he lets us on every time. I don't know.
So if we put that out there that that's what Brooke is really doing today, she's literally over there stalking him today. She's manifesting that for the show.
I wish I had a stalker like Brooke. You never get this. You get like a guy that looks like Danny Trejo, and he's like sharpening his chainsaw outside your house. You never get someone lovely like Brooke, who's a blast. But I'm lucky. She's literally living in my closet. I heard something clunking around. It's either my dogs or her, but I think she's at David's right now. We kind of take turns on who we're going to stalk and where.
I'm just gonna touch on this real quick. Have you seen the new documentary on Eminem, it's called Stan?
I haven't yet. I'm looking forward. It's in my list of things. I'm in the middle of the Devo one right now on Netflix, but I'm moving on to that one, moving on up to that real quick.
Well, I'm just gonna give a shout out to the fans that they need to check that out. And it really emphasizes what what crazy stalkers can be for artists and what they go through. And Brooke, stay on the positive side. That's all I want to say. And no, check that out. But you know what? We should probably do what we do best and bring on another fabulous guest. Are you ready for this, fans?
Yes,
We've got Ted Vergith from Phantom on with us right now. Hey Ted, how you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you?
we're doing fantastic, man. This is going to be a metal heavy show, everybody, which we like. It's the only way it should be. Randy, thank you for bringing Ted on. It had to happen. Where I was staring at him from one screen to the next, and it was finally time to bring him on. Ted deserves a few stalkers because I'm going to be honest with you guys. This guy is extremely talented. I love the band Phantom that he's in. They just put out a new single. I heard it on Bandwidth. It was literally like right before they played my new song Pieces. And I was so proud to be like right next to these guys. And, then they played like Dirtfedd afterwards. And I was like, man, like, how cool is that to be on with these guys? And I don't feel like I'm anywhere near where these guys are, but I'm a huge fan. So, Ted, you and Phantom have been at it now for a little while, but I want to talk to you about that new single that you guys have out, Corsus.
Absolutely. Um, it's been we've kind of been on a little bit of a hiatus, just kind of behind the scenes, writing new music and cultivating some new members. And this is definitely the culmination of all that hard work, releasing this new single, and we're super proud of it.
It stands to mention that you are the vocalist and one of the co-founders of Phantom. So when you hear the guy, spraying his emotion everywhere and giving you guys everything he has on the mic, it's this guy right here. And I love that because I'm a vocalist too, Ted, and I know what it takes to write lyrics and write things and really blurt out how you feel. And I get that from you, man. I get the emotion. It's not just the screams, it's not just the way you're singing it, it's what you're saying. So how important is it to you as a vocalist to really express those emotions?
It's everything. It's everything. And for me as a vocalist, that's where that energy comes from, is from the emotion behind the songs that you write, the lyrics that you write. It's paramount. And without that energy, without that emotion, songs can kind of fall flat sometimes. I mean, I've heard great lyrics in a song that just didn't have any emotion behind it, but I don't know how to do it any way different. It's huge to us as a band. It's incredibly important to me. Even if words come out, sometimes I write a little vague and let people kind of interpret their own meaning to things. I think a lot of times that meaning comes through, but it comes through in the emotion. Whether you resonate with the lyrics or not, you can feel the emotion behind it. And I think that's hugely important. That's what drives me to perform well and to sing well, or scream or growl, whatever the case may be. And this well, man. You are no slouch when it comes to vocals. Don't slouch on that, man. You bring forward a lot of emotion and thought into your vocals as well. So I commend you on that.
Man, that means everything to me. I go through a lot of patches where I wonder to myself, should I even continue? You know what I mean? Like
We all do, man.
I know, like I wonder how other vocalists feel. And even Randy, I want Randy to come on too, as Randy's been writing music lately, and he's been really inspired. But I get really uninspired because I'm just like, man, I just am I reaching anybody? Is it helping anybody? I just want to help somebody like get through it because there were so
Mhm.
many times where I was on the ledge, you know what I mean? Like I just
Oh,
wanted
for sure.
to take that jump. And I'm not glorifying, that being that deep in depression. I'm just saying thank God I didn't, but I hope that I can help somebody who's at that point because all of my lyrics, and I think yours are too, they all mean something so deeply that you just hope that it does something for somebody, right?
Absolutely. I think there's we've all had our experiences, ups and downs, our trials and tribulations. And, we as musicians, we get to, right? We have an amazing opportunity to put ourselves out there and to express sometimes topics that are really hard to talk about. That was one of the things that Brian and I talked about in the beginning of putting Phantom together, was that we wanted to talk about things that people don't want to talk about, and express things that are hard to talk about, because it's important, that you connect with people. Because, I don't know anybody in my circle that, their life is just rainbows and unicorns every day. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of, the journey, right? Is to have those experiences, even though sometimes they suck. And we don't want to, but it really defines us as humans. It shows our character, and at the end of the day, then, we find ways to express that. And sometimes we call it purging demons, purging our demons through our music. And we get to, and that is such a blessing in our lives. And there's moments, like you said, like, why am I doing this? Does it matter? But at the end of the day, if it matters to you, it matters, man. So, don't ever give up on what you're doing. And I say that to all musicians, because I think we all struggle with that from time to time. Am I good enough? Am I doing it right? And then we compare ourselves to others, and screw all that. Just do what feels natural to you. I struggled for a long time. I have kind of a unique voice, and sometimes I would compare that to other bands that I truly loved, other vocalists, Lane Staley, Mike Patton, guys that I cut my teeth on in my younger days, that I just really looked up to and wanted to be like that. And the more I try to be like somebody else, the more I fail. So the more I just do me, all of the emotion, all of the meaning. I mean, I could literally say gibberish, but if I say it with passion, people get it. It's just a great, amazing opportunity to be in a position to do that.
I want to touch on a something I just saw recently is that post COVID, there was a huge statistic that mental health got a huge um, awareness
Mm.
because of music. Like
Yes.
it became very noticeable that a lot of artists were talking about mental health in their music, and it started to really connect with a lot of people that could relate. And it's something that we say all the time, is that we all have this connection to music, and then when you have an artist that literally puts out that raw, like their raw feelings, and it makes people feel like they're not alone, and it makes them feel like other people experience the same emotions they do when it comes to this stuff. And music is such a great way to get that message out. And you know what I mean? And when you're connecting like you do, and you're just pouring it out, like, when the crowd is connecting with your sound.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I got goosebumps when you were saying that, because it's such a it's such a truth. I too, I connect with, bands and vocalists, lyrics that I hear, and it inspires me. I mean, Lane Staley, I can't hear that guy without crying. That music touched me so deeply, and a lot of my friends. We actually, some of us just had conversations about that here not too long ago. That being able to connect with an artist that's putting themselves out there, because it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to talk about our shadows. And that's one of the things that we talk about in Corsus, our shadows. And it's hard, but it's also a privilege.
Well, I'm gonna give Cain a little shout out back because we were doing some writing this last weekend, and I'd sent over one of my songs and he sent over one of his. And I've always found that Cain comes up with some really great lyrics, but he spends a lot of time like he'll sit on a song for a year and let it develop. I'm a little different. I get inspired by a topic and I just go for it. And I think what's really cool and where Cain has helped me was kind of learning how to hear that melody in your head of
Mm.
what you're trying to say. Fill me in a little bit on kind of what your process is and where you tap into that emotion and you know, I know you're going on some your heroes so far, but how do you really tap into your stuff?
So I've talked about this with my bandmates a few times. Well, several times. My process is probably a little different than some, or at least I think it is, because I listen to the music. The boys will write, an incredible song, or will have an idea of a song, and for me to write, I can write some lyrics. I can come up with, something, it usually sounds like a poem when I write lyrics just by themselves. But my process is the boys will bring an idea or a song to the table and I'll hear it. We do a lot of pre-production and we share those files with each other. And so I get to come home and in my dungeon, my little studio to kind of really listen to and catch the vibe of songs. And that's where I start to develop the idea for a song. So for me, I take the mood and the emotion that I feel in the song itself, and I start to hear that melody or the cadence. Not everything. Sometimes it's very staccato and punchy, and I think some of our songs have a little bit of all of that in it. But that's how I kind of write. I start with the music. The music moves me, and then sometimes collectively as a band we'll come up with a topic, and so we're really involved in all phases. I'm not the sole lyric provider. We talk about these things, and as I present ideas, we refine those ideas as a band. And sometimes it's just there. You know what I mean? Like you were saying, I've sat on some lyrics and melody ideas for a song for longer than I should, probably, at least in my mind. But it always comes out at the end. It always works out. And so for me, I really kind of, even working through a song phonetically, I'll work through that and find where I want the melody placed or the transition from this part to that part, and then I start writing lyrics to that. That's kind of my process. I really let the emotion and the mood drive me or pull me in a direction, and sometimes it's really pissed off. Sometimes it's nice and emotion filled and pretty. But that's kind of my process. I grew up in a family of musicians. My niece, who's a very talented vocalist and lyricist, she just blows me out of the water because she can just write and write and write. And I find a little jealousy in that because I sometimes have to really pull it out of me. You know what I mean? That's just my process. It doesn't make it good, bad, or indifferent. It's just my process. And I kind of enjoy it.
Well, Brooke pointed out to me, though she's not on the show, she is here in spirit with us, and we are
Always. Hi, Brooke.
hi Brooke, and we are going over the bio that you sent me, which I appreciate. And one thing that she came up with a thing which was THE, which was truth, heaviness, and emotion for your band, and I think that says everything. I think just talking to you about your lyrics and how they come, I think it really does come out that way. I think that's a great example of what Phantom is. And so I want to dive in more to your band as you guys progress. So let's talk about what's going to be coming up for you guys in terms of not necessarily shows. We'll get to that towards the end of, but are you guys looking to put out a full album soon?
Yeah, I think right now, we're still recording. We're in the process of re-recording some old stuff that we put out. We've got a few things out on Spotify, well, all streaming platforms. I refer to Spotify because I'm lazy and don't go to the other ones. I just use it. Yeah, so our first release with Corsus, our newest release with Corsus, by the way, gratuitous, please go check it out. What our plan is to release some singles every couple months, just to kind of really capitalize on focusing on those songs as individual songs, and then at some point we'll probably release that as a complete album.
That seems like the way to go right now is just to release singles. Before I was trying to do full albums. It was taking forever, but it seems like you kind of capture people's attention. I've noticed that like Narcotic Self lately has been promoting a boatload of stuff that way. So I think
Mhm.
that's a good way to do it. I was just kind of curious, I would love to see what a full album concept looks for you guys and Phantom. Like, cause that's Randy and I, we love the idea of sitting down. I mean, even if it's not a vinyl, starting from start to finish and really getting the essence of what that album is. And I can't wait for that to come out with you guys. So, I'm sure it's just a matter of time. Another thing we want to get to here is I'd love to talk about some of your other band members. I mean, you're fortunate. I'm a one-man band, unfortunately. Right now, I have other players to kind of help me, but I do all the stuff for mine. I play drums, bass, all that. You're fortunate to have really good musicians. It alongside you. I mean, not just good, but great musicians. Please tell me about your other members of the band if you could.
Absolutely. And I love to talk about these guys because without them, I'm just a dude. But yeah, so we've got Jacob Samuelson on drums. He is a monster. Probably, in my opinion, he's also my brother. That's another thing about this group of guys is that we are a brotherhood. We've been together just shy of 7 years. We've all developed together and individually as musicians. And I literally couldn't be with a better group of guys. I freaking love you guys, man. So yeah, Jacob Samuelson on drums. He's just amazing. He comes from more of a punk rock background. And I remember the first time I heard him play, I watched this dude kick that bass drum with one foot, and I was just like, what the hell? How are you doing that? And talk to him about that. And now that I've been able to be in a band with that guy, I love him to death. He's one of my best friends, but he's a monster on the drums. He actually played for Section 8 at this last show over the weekend, filling in for those guys, and they killed it. And then we've got Skylar Rowland. That dude he's a beast in and of himself. He's also the front man for Leighton. So the guy can sing, he can play drums, he can play guitar, bass, all of it. And he's an amazing musician, and a hell of a guy. And be sure to check out Leighton. He plays bass for us. We couldn't be more happy about it. And then we've got Jason Hawkrider on guitar. He's a legend in the music scene. He's been in many bands like Black Sky Burning. He was in Beaver Damage, Violent Death Equipment. He's been in a lot of heavy bands. Him and Brian have been kind of traveling the world for a long time together, and it's amazing to watch them co-create and write and play. So just a monster guitarist. He plays lead guitar for us. And then we've got Jacob Sumter playing keyboard for us over the last year. We brought on a keyboard player, and he has just stepped up to the plate. He also played keyboards for Dirtfedd over this last weekend and did an amazing job. He's an amazing musician. Also, he's versed on all of the instruments, and just a super talent within himself. And we're so lucky to have him with us, creating new style. We're kind of evolving as a band with Phantom. And then we've got the famous Brian Luganbill. Who doesn't love that dude, right? He is a monster guitar. He's smart and very intelligent about music, and he kind of leads us down the path that we don't want to go sometimes, but he pushes us all to be better musicians. He's had some experience that a lot of us haven't had with, being a signed band, the success and the notoriety that they've had. He understands the music business a little bit better than some of us do. And he's been such a great kind of leader and mentor to a lot of us. I can see Brian's head just getting bigger as I say all these things, but they're all true. And I'm just kidding, Brian. He has been, so he was the one that kind of approached me about Phantom to begin with. So, ultimately it was kind of his vision to bring something together. And it's definitely morphed and become something, I think, even better than what he imagined in the beginning, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're a family. I wouldn't give that up for the world. So I'm so incredibly blessed to play with these guys. And honestly, I wouldn't want to play music with anyone else.
It is now that super magical time, the time when unicorns fly over and Brooke is riding on top of them and she's throwing glitter at everybody. And you guys are getting this joyful feeling that comes from listening to the Elegant Sasquatch ad and also the local roundup. That's right. We will have the local roundup and we will be making your plans for you. And it is a big weekend this weekend with college football starting and everything going on. There is still so much to be done here. There's so many people who also don't like football that much, which I don't get it, but hey, it happens. You can like both and you can go and you can enjoy a great show. So let's run the ad, get the local roundup going, and then we will get back to it with Phantom's very own Ted Vergith.
Dude, last night was a rager. I literally don't remember anything. What happened and why do our beards smell so bad?
It all started when a Sasquatch came out of the woods. He was doing keg stands, he DJ'd the party for a while, he even brought a live skunk to hang out. It was epic. It was getting late when Sasquatch's skunk friend decided to spray his pungent odor everywhere. Now our beards smell like rotten eggs and trash. Don't worry, friend.
Ah! Is that you, Sasquatch?
It's me, your boy Squatch. Have no fear, my nose-melting follicle friends. I have just what you're looking for to get the skunk stench out of those skunktified beards. The Elegant Sasquatch Beard Company has all sorts of balms, butters, oils, and washes to turn you from skunk to hunk in no time. Oh, bro, this is a trip. I feel like I'm dreaming, man. I'm gonna go back to bed. Well, pinch yourself now because you're not dreaming, my friend. I'm here to tell you about all the great things going on at the Elegant Sasquatch Beard Company.
Oh, tell me you have something to help us with these smelly beards.
Not only do I have something for that, but I have so much more. Head on over to elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com to check out the shop and look at all the different beard balms, butters, oils, face washes, and bundles that we have to offer. In addition to all of our great prices, if you mention the Scratch the Vinyl podcast with Scratch30 at checkout, you'll get an additional 30% off of your order. Oh man, this beard wash is amazing and these oils smell so good I could drink it. Oh, you foolish little human. That's not what they're talking about with hair of the dog.
But seriously, Squatch, these scents are amazing. I already smell better.
Well, on that note, it's time to grab another beer and oh, it looks like our friend the skunk just arrived. It's time to party. I call dibs on the first game of beer pong.
All right, everybody. It is time for the local roundup. One of your favorite parts of the show, I know it. We are proving to you guys in this sociology experiment once again that the local goodness that we have is amazing and we have so many great bands and so many things going on. So let's get going here. We've got football starting this week, which means that fall, my favorite time of the year, is just around the corner. It's happening, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. It's fall. So it's time to party, and that means bands are going to be firing up. People are going to be getting ready here. So let's talk about it right now. Gray's Keg, everybody. Friday night, 8 p.m. They've got the Breakfast Club. They're playing 70s, 80s, 90s. They're playing it all, and they're playing classic rock hits with the Breakfast Club. That show starts at 8, so get there. Let's head on over to the Zoo Bar for the FAC. They have an action-packed weekend as always. let's go ahead and go over it right now. They have a monster Friday night here. So for their FAC, they've got the Church of the Blues, and that's with Levi William and Josh Hoyer, and what an action-packed lineup that is. But then you roll on over to 9 p.m. and they've got the Empire Strikes Brass with, you guessed it, Josh Hoyer and Soul Colossal. And you guys couldn't have a better night when it comes to so we might as well stay for both shows, and then maybe move back and forth from place to place, then come back, whatever they let you do, I guess. So then also at the Zoo Bar on Saturday at 9 p.m. I don't think they have an early show, but they do have an action-packed late show. At 9 p.m. they've got Black O'Phantom with the Pocket Architects. There is no early show, it looks like here. So that is your show. Get there for that. 1867 now, Friday night. They've got Blondo, Frantic Youth, and The Sounds of Many. It's an 8:30 show. It's a $12 cover. It's an 18+ show, so kids beware of that. But the rest of you guys, get there. Those are some killer bands. Let's see what else we got going on around Lincoln here. I don't see anything right now. I'm sure there's things going on at Tanks and Cappy's and all, but I'm not seeing it. So you guys would definitely want to check that out. Let's go over to Duffy's now. They don't have a show on Friday. Saturday, they have a Duffy's / Bodegas party, or it says Darty here. So I'm assuming that has something to do with darts. I would have to look into it a little more, but I don't see any show for Saturday night. But Sunday they do have a show. They have a 8 p.m. door, 9 p.m. show. They have Terry Quinn and the Coyotes, and then they have Strange Pain as well as West Side Sunset on Sunday night. So that's pretty good over there. Let's also check the Bourbon here. It looks like the Bourbon does have a show at 8 p.m. on Saturday. They've got Danny Michaels, so I would go to their website, check that out, look for tickets on bourbontheater.com, and look up that. So there you go, everybody. Your weekend plans are made courtesy of the Scratch the Vinyl podcast and all of the amazing talent in this area. And now let's get back to our interview with our guest, Ted Vergith from Phantom.
My experience with the metal scene was always like a family to me. And I'm only saying that for one, you brought up Beaver Damage, a big shout out to the Big O Tattoo guys downtown for they started cutting their teeth when I was promoting metal downtown, and we'd party over at the garage all night long. Those guys were awesome. And it kind of made me started thinking about, what the metal scene is like in Lincoln anymore. And we just had, this kind of big revamp show this last weekend with Dirtfedd, and we promoted a lot on our show. But, you brought up Section 8 in Layton, and, I know Brooke and Cain got to go to the show. I didn't, but I had friends all over keep sending me videos of the show all night. So I feel like I got to see most of the show. Man, I was so pumped watching that. How do you feel like the scene is going right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, the scene, and we could all say good and bad things about the metal scene or the music scene in Lincoln. The metal scene in particular, I think a lot of I feel like there's been some stagnation with how bands are presenting or being presented, outside of national acts. As a local musician in anybody's hometown, whether it's Lincoln or Omaha, Denver, it doesn't matter. Across the board, I think, we've kind of as a scene have kind of slacked off a little bit. And I'm not saying that about anyone. Again, we're just as much a part of this as anyone. And we too have been kind of lazy about some things here and there. We've taken some time off to kind of revamp and write new music and elevate ourselves. And what I think the Dirtfedd Section 8 and Layton show showed, not only local musicians it showed the scene, the town, the fans of metal music that we're not gone, man. You know what I mean? And I think it inspired a lot of people. It inspired everyone in those bands. It inspired me that this is still alive, that this is still viable. We all need to get off our asses and start making this happen. You know what I mean? And that's from the fans, coming out to support their favorite bands, and I think it also provides an opportunity to start creating more events, not just a local show, but an event. And I think it's so important to create these events, for people to come out and have an experience, listen to some great musicians throw down and put their heart right on the stage for everybody to see. And it takes work, it takes commitment, and it takes partnership, community within the music scene, bands supporting bands. Again, as Brian likes to say, the tide raises all ships. We as musicians and as bands elevating each other, supporting each other. I think this amazing show that happened on Saturday was a testament to that. And I'm really grateful to Dirtfedd because they kind of led the way, they had and have such a huge following. They made an impact around here. And so I think it really just re-inspired, reinvigorated people like me, get off our asses and let's start doing some stuff that really matters and elevating each other, right? I think that's the biggest thing that I took away from all of this was that not only did we get to see a great freaking show, but all the things that brought that to fruition, the support from you guys, from the fans, from people that just kind of came out of the woodwork, because Dirtfed changed the logo on their Facebook page and everybody was like, ooh, what's going on? And it's great. I love it. I think it's amazing. So, with that being said, Phantoms had the opportunity to put together some pretty cool events pre-COVID. I'll just say this: we've got something brewing for next spring that's going to be pretty amazing. I'll keep the cat in the bag for the most part, but we've got some really cool stuff planned coming up, supported by some local radio stations. I'm sure you guys will be a part of that, and I'd love to share that with you guys too as we build on that. And I think it's a great opportunity for us as a band to help keep this momentum going. And I know all the bands that participated last week or last weekend are going to be on board with that as well. Maybe as individuals, but just supporting each other. I think it's really important.
Now, Ted, we love exclusives on this show, right? We we almost did let the cat out of the bag. So if you feel so inclined before now and the end of the show, we're definitely glad. But I can't wait for that to happen. I do have some major takeaways from that show, and I want to share them with you because you were there. I feel
Absolutely.
awkward. If I hugged you right when I met you, it's just kind of my thing, It's like
It's my thing too, brother. I'm a hugger.
I'd rather hug than shake hands. It means more. But
Amen.
that show, one, it showed me that Leighton is a kick-ass band. Leighton is, I mean, they started the night off amazing. They were fantastic. It reminded me how much I love Leighton. But then when Section 8 came on, I remembered, man, it was like I transcended back to the early 2000s. And I even messaged Joe Clapper after the show, and I told him, he is one of the most mesmerizing vocalists. Like he's like a peacock, right? Like you can't help but look at him. You know why? He's a big, like menacing guy, but he's really entertaining. But like what him and Section 8 did with Stan up there, I told him, like, you guys, I don't know how you guys didn't make it to the top of the mountain with the rest of the rap rock groups of all time. I mean, I truly mean that. And I'm not just shooting smoke up his ass. I mean, Section 8 threw down and they haven't played in how long together. It was fantastic. And then to top it all off, we get the privilege of watching Dirtfed put on a clinic for metal fans
Yes.
everywhere. It
Well
was
said.
right, like they put on a clinic that I'm still thinking about. And then Derek Sammons comes in and he fills in at vocals. And I mean, it left me wanting more, I guess is my biggest takeaway. Watching
Absolutely.
it, and I know that Brock keeps saying it's not going to happen. We're not doing anything with this, but I hope that something does come from this. I would love to see an album. I know that they're not all about the tour life like that anymore, but to see another Dirtfed album with Derek and Dustin, I don't know. I mean, I would love to. Maybe we'll even get Dustin on the show at some point, and we'll talk to him about it. But man, what an unbelievable thing we witnessed that night.
Yeah, it was amazing. I've had the privilege of playing a few shows with Derek, with his other bands, and just getting to know him a little bit. He lives in Omaha, so I don't get to spend a lot of time with him, but I really do look up to that guy as a singer, vocalist. He really inspires me to be better. And like you said, they really did put on a clinic on Saturday. It just goes to show that their music's still viable, in 2025. What they were doing back then, definitely innovative for sure. So as that travels forward, I have nothing to say on whether they will or they won't. That's completely up to them. But whatever they decide, we as brothers, we support them all. They're all really good friends of ours, and we were just really privileged to witness all of it. Right, I captured a lot of really cool video for them during the show, and I too can't wait to see it because I haven't even seen it yet. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. So we just really want to, I guess, ride the wave of that with Phantom. The things that we're doing. Just kind of getting started in revamping ourselves, re-releasing ourselves back out to the wild a little bit, kind of riding that wave of notoriety that my bandmates, my friends that have really just kind of opened that gate back up a little bit. I think it's something that we want to participate in, being a part of that in the metal scene in Lincoln.
Well, we've learned that sometimes you just have to put it out in the universe and let it happen.
Yep.
And it's kind of how that show developed. We had sat down with Brock that day and we got to talking. I don't think
Yep.
he was expecting us to bring up Dirtfed for one. And I've got a long history with those guys. And next thing you know, like you said, he changed one thing on their profile and the fans started coming out of the woodwork.
Mhm.
So all I'm saying, Ted, you just keep talking about the stuff you want to happen and it'll
Oh,
happen.
I'm definitely a huge proponent of manifestation. We've got a song called "No One Gets Out Alive" that is all about that. Transcending beyond the self and bringing those things that we want into our lives. We talk a lot about spiritual. I talk a lot about spirituality in our songs. That transition from the dark to the light. Ultimately, it's one thing to talk about those dark, deep-seated emotions and things like that. It's another thing to talk about breaking through back into the light, and I think that's hugely important for people to understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And we try to talk about that in our music quite a bit.
Honestly, Ted, that's the message that I think that everyone should get. I think that most people, if they need that message to be reminded to them. I know I do, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I know that we kind of got heavy on Dirtfed and everything, but I want to continue to spread the word about you and Phantom. I don't want to take away from what you guys are doing, because you guys, you're not, it's not like you guys are just writing the success of this or that. You guys are your own entity, and you guys
Mhm.
are a kick-ass band. And I know you guys probably have a ton of things coming up. So could you tell us, do you guys have any shows planned here pretty soon, or we can see you? Tell us a little bit more that you guys might have planned.
So, right now we've been kind of picking and choosing some shows. Kind of elevating the releases of songs. We're still working on a music video for Corsus. So, we're still in that recording phase, and writing new music, continuing to write new music, staying relevant in that. Right now, we don't have a show booked, but we've got some ideas that we're trying to cultivate. So there's some things coming for sure. looking forward to releasing yet another single here in the not so distant future. But really trying to promote the songs that we've got, kind of developing our sound and things like that. Like I said, we've kind of been dormant, that cocoon type of scenario where we're evolving, and as we release ourselves back into the wild, so to speak, we're going to start landing some shows, probably a little more outside of Lincoln, but definitely staying relevant in our hometown, because we love our hometown. But getting out into Omaha and Iowa, some local areas in the Midwest, trying to do that type of thing. But right now we're cultivating this idea it's beyond an idea. This deal that we're putting together for the springtime, probably in March, April. So we're really looking forward to that. And we're looking at creating an event again. It's probably going to be a 2-day event that we'll be looking at coming up here in the spring. So that's kind of where we've been focusing our energies right now.
You're making me want to put my promoter hat back on, and I feel like now, Cain, I'm going to throw this out to you. I feel like I need to get back on promoting a Halloween Metal Manifesto show or something.
We need a Halloween Havoc show in this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like Halloween Havoc is, synonymous with the WCW, but it's also, we need like a big show. That's something we've been talking about anyway. We need we need a metal show for STV, and we need to put on a rap show. We need to kind of like spread it around. I would love to get some of these guys on that, but they're probably going to, we'll have to see what it sounds like. They've got a lot of big things coming up.
Yeah, we really do. And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but we've got some really big things planned for the spring. And, as we continue to release new music, trying to build fan base back up. We went quiet for a long time, and we kind of lost that momentum that we had built for so many years. So, we're just kind of redoing who we are, what we're doing, what we're about, and so we're really excited about it.
Well, Scratch the Vinyl fans, we tried our best there to get an exclusive, but Ted is hold it tight to the vest. But that means you just got to keep paying attention to the show, and I feel like we're gonna get Ted back in the future and let this cat out of the bag.
Absolutely.
I kind of feel like Batman, and in like Christopher Nolan's Batman, like, tell us, like we're shaking Ted down. We're gonna get it out of him one way or another. But
oh, you will, you'll be among the first to know, my friend.
Ted, I hope that we can be a part of anything that you guys have going on. I think that we proved to the STV fans that we did have some pull in the manifestation world when it came to Dirtfedd. And Brock said that, us kind of asking him the tough questions kind of made him think like, hey, maybe we will do a Dirtfedd show. You never know. So I really hope that happens. Ted, I wish we had more time, but like all good things, this one good thing has to come to an end. I can say this: we're not the only ones doing great things for them. I do want to mention this before we go. We're not the only ones doing great things for metal and for the Lincoln scene. I want to give a shout out to John Cruz.
Absolutely.
Esto, and with the work he's doing. He was contacting me last week, during a show. Him and I talked. I know he's going to play my new single this week, and he's been nothing but fantastic for metal in general, but for the local scene. So
absolutely. We've played a few of John's benefits, and we look forward to playing another one. He puts them on quite often, and we always love supporting John. He does a great job, supporting and just being there for the metal scene. So we appreciate you, John. Also, we might as well mention while we're at it, and I'm probably cutting you off on this one, but the local bandwidth, Luna and John the Animal, they do such a good job on the Blaze, promoting and and just keeping the local scene relevant. And we really appreciate that. I've talked with Luna and John both about this endeavor we've got coming up. And so really looking forward to working with them on this secret little event we're planning.
Well, Ted, just personally, just thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. And obviously, knowing that you're out there doing what you're doing, we know the metal scene isn't going anywhere.
No, it's not. It's gonna get better and better as we go forward. There's such talent that's coming up, and we can't wait to work with and enjoy their up and coming endeavors. So, guys, I can't thank you enough for bringing me on. It's been a pleasure. You guys are a hoot.
Crazier if Brooke would have been here.
Absolutely. Well, another time.
She was definitely here in spirit. We miss you, Brooke, and we'll get you on the next one. And for all the listeners out there, metal fans, unite. All right, this is our time to shine. I want you guys to assemble, and I want you guys to throw the horns up and listen to Phantom. Thank you once again, Ted, for being on the show, and for all the millions, and you're out there, everybody. You're telling us all the time. I want to thank you guys for listening. Tune in next week. We'll catch you on the flip side here on
Scratch the Vinyl.
All right, what a show that was with Ted Vergith from Phantom. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Now, let's talk about sponsors before we go. Let's do a little wrap up here. So first up, let's talk about Roots Music Shop. What is Roots Music Shop to me? Roots Music Shop is everything. I go there for all my guitars, all my pedals, drums, everything that I have in my studio has probably cycled in and out of Roots Music Shop from time to time. So I would go there immediately if I were you. Instant cool factor. Not that I'm cool, but a guy like me could probably be cool if I got some guitars, and I do, from Roots Music Shop. So also, let's talk about Backtrack Records. If you guys need records, I can't think of a better place to go. It's the only place in town that's open on Monday. It's open early at 10 a.m. That combination together alone, I'm telling you guys, is the reason to go. I get the hankering to go in the morning, and that's the place where I go. So go there, try to buy records before I get them. I challenge you to go to Backtrack Records. American Senior Benefits with Jason DeGosh. Go ask them for Jason, oh my gosh, DeGosh, and he will be the man with the plan that will set you up with the best plan that you want through them. So American Senior Benefits. Next, let's talk about Lil Bill's Barbecue. It's now tailgating season, and you're going to need yourself some of the best barbecue sauces around, and I can't think of a better place to go. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace solely. It's Lil Bill's Barbecue. The barbecue is so good. I swear to you, I'm drinking it. It's giving me superpowers. I think that it has almost like a steroid effect, because I am now lifting tall buildings and vehicles, and I'm throwing them around because Lil Bill's is so good. Get to Lil Bill's on their Facebook Marketplace, and please help us out and tell them that Scratch the Vinyl sent you to them. And heck, maybe they'll give you a discount. Maybe they'll give you a handshake and a high five. I don't know, but Lil Bill's Barbecue is where it's at. Slying Tattoo, those of you that need your, if you want like to cover up that tribal tattoo like I regrettably got years ago, or maybe you have like a tramp stamp that you want to put like a massive target, or a dolphin diving through a rainbow like Randy promised me that he would do, go to Slying Tattoo. Bryce is your artist, and he is the best around. That's all we got for this show, everybody. Tune in next week here on Scratch the Vinyl.